If you're comfortable keeping your cameras on, please do so. Your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is important to us, as it is our policy to practice and create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there are aspects of this presentation's design or delivery that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the following. Online students, please reach out to the Online Accessibility Center by emailing oac@snhu.edu or by phone at 866-305-9430. If we've got any campus students here, you can reach out to the Campus Accessibility Center by emailing cac@snhu.edu or by phone at 603-644-3118. And if we've got any Southern New Hampshire University staff and or faculty, if you can reach out to the Human Resources Office by emailing hr@snhu.edu. So at this point, I'm going to throw it over to my colleagues that are here on the call to do a quick introduction. They'll be moderating the chat box. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. That's a great way to get some conversation started. But I do encourage you to take the opportunity once Mike, and Max are done with the presentation to take your cameras, turn them on, and go along with your questions. So at this point, I'm going to throw it on over to my colleague, David Munn. So David, go right ahead, sir.
All right, great. Thanks, Jim. And thank you to Activision Blizzard King. Appreciate you guys coming, and it's going to be a great presentation, I'm sure. I thank all the students and faculty and staff that are here as well. I'm David Munn. I'm on the military career team. I work with the business vertical. I'm a retired, as you can see my background, I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. And I'm going to turn it over to Alex.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Alex, U.S. Army veteran, had to represent here. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. And welcome to the event. I hope you guys plan to attend the others this month. So Jim set these up. It's a great opportunity to meet y'all and for y'all to meet some employers. And anyway, I've been here 7 years on the military career advising team. I work primarily with STEM students and some healthcare. And yeah, so anytime you see events like this, be sure to join up. Glad you're here. So I'll turn it over to my colleague. Let's go with Mr. Summers.
Thanks, Chap. Thanks, Jim. Thanks everybody for being here. Ray Summers, career advisor at Southern New Hampshire University. Also retired government service 2014. So excited to be here. Happy Veterans Day. Make sure you enjoy the weekend. And thanks everybody for showing up. This is vital that you start learning to speak the language a little bit as you transition. So great job taking the first steps. Jim or somebody, who should I pass it on to here?
Thank you, Ray. I think that's the last of the crew here that are with us tonight. I think everybody else decided to skate out early because it's now Friday where you are all off tomorrow for Veterans Day. So as my colleagues did say, thank you all for your service and your sacrifices. I hope you have a happy Veterans Day and enjoy your weekend and spend some time with those that are most important to you. So at this point, I don't know, Mike, did you want to share? You should have the ability to share.
Yeah, on my side, it's grayed out, the ability to share. So I'm not sure if someone on my team could share. I'll go ahead and present from my side, but yeah, it's grayed out on my side.
Okay, let me just double check one more and see what's going on with that. Michael, where'd you go? Oh. Mike, you want to try that now?
Yeah, I just seen it highlight. So hold on one second. Let's see. Open it up. Once. All right, so I'm gonna update it. Let me see. Share screen.
I see some magic happening here.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
good on my end.
Does it go full screen? All right. Can you
Yep.
you see full screen? All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'll get it started. We'll a couple slides. We'll introduce the team. My name is Michael Weska. I'm retired Air Force. I was a career recruiter for the Air Force. Supporting the Bears today. Sadly, it's a 2-17, but they're playing prime time, unfortunately, to a 1-16 or 1-17. But yeah, definitely had to put my Bears out there today. But yeah, definitely happy Veterans Day for everybody out there in the audience. We're definitely happy to be here. This is going to be my second event for Southern New Hampshire. But we're part of a small team within Activision Blizzard King, the veteran hiring and diversity sourcing team. So we're proud to be here, kind of just detailing some of the responsibilities and what we cover within our company, and we'll answer any questions at the very end. Yeah, so this kind of pretty much a snapshot of our company. I'm pretty sure the majority of you have heard of some of the games that we put out specifically through Activision Blizzard. So we have Activision Blizzard King. Activision's known for the bigger titles like Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Tony Hawk. Blizzard, you definitely have your Blizzard fans out there that support WoW, Diablo, StarCraft, Hearthstone, and Candy Crush. My mom plays Candy Crush with King a lot, so I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fans out there for that. There's a lot of different opportunities. So when you look at this, you see all the different game titles that we have, and then each game title has a different studio. So we have studios all across the globe, multiple spots throughout the U.S. and then also overseas as well. So we'll talk about a little bit about the location specifics. A lot of times when we talk to veterans, they tend to be tied to a specific area, and we'll talk about that near the tail end here. So this is our team. It's a small team. Like I said, my name is Michael Weska. I guess I'll pass it over to Max next to give a quick intro.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? I'm Max Levisor. I've been working with Mike and Mike for the past 2 years. It's been amazing. One thing about Activision Blizzard is the people, and we've been focused on working on placing veterans in meaningful employment, if that's with Activision Blizzard or anywhere. 20-year Army veteran, also a career recruiter at the end of my tour, and that's basically me. I will pass it to our manager, Mike Perry.
Thanks, Max. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mike Perry. Can y'all hear me pretty good? I had some issues with feedback earlier. So yeah, like Mike and Max, as a matter of fact, we all came to the company in probably 1 or 2 weeks of each other. Transitioning out, I spent 32 years in the Army, and I call myself the anomaly because a lot of transitioning service members have a hard time finding a role as they exit the military. But I found the role pretty fast. I found the role pretty fast because I ended up with a mentor for veterati who was guiding me through as I was transitioning out. So get a mentor for veterati or veteran corporate partners that will always pay dividends for you and give you the opportunity to meet with someone who's already in corporate. We've been having a great time here doing the HOH program for ABK and pulling veterans inside of ABK. So thank you all again for inviting us back out. Like Mike said, this is not our first time being here. So just looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. So Mike, just so you know, for some reason, when you're advancing slides, I'm not seeing them advance on my end. I don't know about anybody else. So I think, yeah.
Let me see if I can go back. Let me see if you can see this. Can you see it go back to the previous one?
I did not.
I think it's Teams because I can move through the slides, but
Yeah, that everybody should be able to move it on their own, but obviously we don't want everybody to do that. So, Mike, right now we've got the 3 of you folks on the screen there. So let me know when you want me to go to the next screen and I can do that.
Well, yeah, we'll do next slide. So it'll be kind of talking about our mission and vision for the team.
Yep.
So we have a unique team. So like Max and Mike said, we're prior military recruiters, so we understand the challenges. We face the same transition struggles you may have in recent years, and we understand that struggle getting into the corporate environment. So that's what we're here for, is to pretty much integrate veteran hiring into everything that we do here at ABK. We're actually trying to make a employer of choice when it comes to veterans and gaming, because not a lot of gaming companies, I believe zero gaming companies have a veteran sourcing team dedicated to bringing veteran talent through all the different talent pipelines. So yeah, that's our main mission and vision for our team specifically, is just to integrate veteran hiring all throughout all of our studios, no matter which position. We want to try to integrate more veterans into the interview process, and we do that through a number of different ways. So I'm going to change slides to the next one. It's going to be veteran hiring initiatives. These are some of the things that we've done over the past 2 years. We are a new team, 2 years, so we've grown a lot over the past couple of years, and we're still growing rapidly. We're doing a lot of base visits, but overall, like I said, we're the only gaming company with a dedicated veteran and D&I sourcing team. A lot of other companies have D&I sourcing teams, but ours is focused majority on veteran hiring. We do a lot of initiatives through HOH, Hiring Our Heroes, and I definitely would recommend, if you haven't, I'm not sure about the audience if they already transition out or some are active duty, but Hiring Our Hero Corporate Fellowship Program is a huge program that I wish they had back when I transitioned out back in 2015. But we'll talk a little bit about that program, but it's pretty much an 11-week program that you can work for a corporate company 180 days out from transitioning out of the military. You'll get the corporate world experience, and then the company will decide whether to convert you to a full-time after the fellowship is over. We also require veteran hiring for hiring training for specifically for hiring managers, and you'll see this a lot during the application process. Whenever you apply for potential jobs, a lot of hiring managers that you talk to might have no clue about the military. They don't understand military jargon, which should be left out of the resume in the first place. But they don't, they see a military, experience, and they say, well, that doesn't directly translate to the civilian side, certain aspects. So we give this training to hiring managers directly and say, hey, these are some of the similarities. These are some of the challenges that hiring managers face. This is how you can overcome those challenges. And this is the importance of hiring veterans into the workforce. So we offer that. We offer for any veteran that joins our company, we give them a specialized onboarding program, because we know that they're much different than regular civilian coming out of a 4-year school or just transitioning to a new company. We have a dedicated veteran onboarding program for them. We also offer mentorship, because we know when you transition out, you're not just starting a new job, you're transitioning out of the military, which could have been 10, 20 years of your life, and it's just a lot to get used to. Different corporate structures, different forms of chain of command, pretty much. So there's a lot of things you have to get used to. So these mentors definitely help kind of ease the transition struggles that you have. We also do HRTA rotational programs. So say you are in an HR type field or recruiting field in the military, you're not really sure where you want to go in that side. We do have these rotational programs where you can start off as a business partner for a year and then transfer over to like recruiting, and then you can decide which route you want to take after the rotation program ends. We also deal with training with the industry, and also the Hiring Our Hero Corporate Spouse Fellowship we're looking to get more into. Next slide, please. It's going to be veteran-focused recruiting partners. These are some of the partners that we've dealt with over the past couple of years. Hire Heroes USA does a lot of good things revolving like resume reviews and updates. Hiring Our Heroes has that fellowship program. Vets and Entertainment, we're actually doing another fireside panel next week. It's sponsored by WB, but it's a lot of it's for veterans that are interested in the entertainment industry. We host a live session. It's going to be an hour session next, I believe, Wednesday. Next week's going to be a really busy week for us, but these are some of the corporate partners that we have. But next slide, we'll talk about some of the opportunities. Next slide is going to be HOH fellowship opportunities. So these are some of the potential roles that we've hired in the past in the fellowship type space. But outside the fellowship opportunity, I mean, you can imagine majority of our roles in the ABK is going to be centered around programming, design, and art. Those are going to be the niche type roles that we constantly hire from. Outside of that, we still have every supporting and operational role you can think of a normal company would have, like HR, finance, legal, marketing, business development. There's a lot of different roles that we have open, and a bunch of studios that we have to be a part of as well. So these are some potential roles you could fall into. Some of these roles are, I talked previously, a couple of slides ago, that because we have a lot of studios, the majority of our studios now are more returning to office. So I would say 95% of the jobs now are going to be focused to be on site. I would say the majority of the cybersecurity roles are more open or remote, but no matter which job you're interested in, you would still need to connect with us directly. We would contact the hiring teams directly and ask if, is your position open or remote or on site, and we would let you know then. But I would say right now, the majority of the roles we have are more focused to be, on site. The next slide, please. It's going to be veteran support during fellowship. So if you were part of this fellowship, even if you're not part of this fellowship, we still offer some of these programs like mentorship. But if you were to be a fellow, we have weekly huddles discussing, transition tips. We offer the mentorship program. You'll get on the first week, you'll get access to our ABK training. You'll have hiring managers, one-on-ones with hiring managers, veteran onboarding program, and then our veteran network. So Max, which introduced earlier, he's our co-chair pretty much for the ERG. So when you look for a potential company outside of when you graduate from school or whenever you're looking for a new employer, I would highly suggest finding one with that group, veteran resource group. A veteran resource group is there to kind of discuss any challenges that are going out on the outside, any struggles that you kind of have currently, what's going on. There's a lot of different new veterans getting into the workforce. There's a lot of older veterans that have been in the workforce for a long time. So that veteran resource group is there to kind of bond. We do a lot of internal, external events. So definitely research companies that have these resource groups available, specifically veteran, if that's something that you're looking forward to. The next slide is kind of just a snapshot of who we brought in the previous years for fellows. You can see some of the reason why we have this is obviously not only to highlight the fellows, but also highlight some of the roles that we've been able to bring in. So you can see anything from UI, UX designers, software engineers, L&D program managers. L&D is learning and development. So we have a lot of people from the military side that have training type experience, so they can easily translate into L&D department. A lot of HR, project management type roles. So that kind of highlights, we've had a lot more fellows we brought in after this, but we definitely have to update the slide. But that kind of gives you a snapshot of, not everything is going to be related to software engineer. We have a lot of different other roles that you can be a part of. And that kind of concludes our, you can go to the next slide. That concludes kind of our presentation, just a highlight of what our team is about, what initiatives we're doing. And then we have this slide here to kind of show our LinkedIn profiles. We highly suggest, if you're not active on LinkedIn, you definitely need to get active. We tell everybody we talk to in every career fair, every event we go to is, you definitely connect with us on LinkedIn. You can't spray and pray when you apply to places anymore. You have to think strategic when you're trying to apply to certain positions. And the way to do that is, search potential positions, connect with the right people at the company. My route, I would look for veterans in the type of space I want to go in. If I'm a cybersecurity analyst and I'm looking at these 5 companies in the Tennessee area, I'm going to look for veterans in those companies that are in the cybersecurity field that were prior veterans, and I would connect with them first and then kind of just build off that relationship. So hopefully they can at least say a good word for me when a job does open up. And then I would reach out to the recruiters when I see positions actually open up and say, hey, I've known this person at this company. He's a cybersecurity analyst. He's told me a lot about the company, and I'm definitely interested in applying. But there's different approaches that you need to take instead of just applying to a role. And then 4 months later, you find out, oh, I forgot I applied to that role, and they just sent me a rejection email. So you can't just apply and just hope to get a call back. There's a lot of different steps you need to take nowadays as opposed to back then when I transitioned out. Yeah, and now, we can go to the next slide. It's just questions. We'll dedicate the rest of the time for any questions. I know the chat has been going off. I can hear, I just can't see it. I'm going to end the slideshow from my side just so I can read the chat.
I think I just turned it off for you there, Mike. Sorry about some of that technical stuff, guys. That was a little bit on my end. I did ask Mike to send it over earlier, but the program I had, I couldn't get it to going to the PowerPoint. So again, Mike, thank you very much. Awesome presentation, so much information. So again, folks, this is your opportunity to fire away with some questions. So if you've got questions, please feel free to raise your hand. It's in the top hand part of the bar here, and we'll call on you and ask you to come off mute and ask your question.
Hey, James, can I say something?
Go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, so you all just witnessed technical difficulties that can happen. But here's the great thing. Unlike the military, where stuff happens like that, then you got some commander running around screaming and hollering, what's going on, why can't you fix it? You don't have to worry about that in corporate America. So when you come out of the military, dial back. All the pressure that you got on you, let it go. There's no light or eyesight involved in what they do in corporate America in comparison to the military. Too many of us transition out and we're still so uptight about everything that our peers start looking at us like there's something wrong with you. Why are you so serious? So just pull back a little bit, breathe. All right. Thanks, James.
Thanks, Mike. I know we've got some questions out there, folks.
Yeah, so I mean, usually I'll go with some like common questions that we have. So we tend to see, like our team specifically, we see a lot of people that are obviously prior military. They'll do 4 years, 6 years in cybersecurity. Then they say obviously there's not really a lot of roles that directly translate to infantry. If they don't want to be in law enforcement or SWAT or anything like that, they tend to change type of career field. So certifications, education comes up a lot. The one thing I would say, the one thing we have is just the employment. I would say the landscape is different now than it was a couple years ago. So the big thing now that affects a lot of veterans is just the location specific. So you have to be willing to kind of be open to new roles, that are on site. So I know, you're going through school now. That's definitely important. A lot of hiring managers, for the majority of the roles, they definitely look for someone that has an undergrad degree in that type of role that they're looking for. But to be, I would say the majority of our positions right now are definitely going to be on site. So that's a number one question that we always get is this position remote or on site? And the majority, it is going to be based on site. And most of our studios are going to be based out of California. We do have some in Austin, Texas, and then some scattered all around the U.S., like New York and Wisconsin. We do have a question, I think.
Andrew, go right ahead, sir. You can take yourself off mute and fire away.
Yeah, you mentioned I'm going through right now. I'm trying to get my associates into computer science, and I'm pretty sure I want to do software engineering for my bachelor's, but I did 4 years and I had, radio communication repair. As far as looking for internships, how long do I have to wait for the experience part?
As far as internships, you would definitely have to be part of a 4-year program. We do have a sophomore program called Sparks, then the junior year as well. So there's certain timelines that you have to meet for, I guess, their internship opportunities. There's a program we established, I think it was last year, a year and a half ago, but it was called Level Up University. I would definitely highlight, maybe research that on our career site. That our first cohort was dedicated to engineers that may have been outside of the industry, or they've had associate degree with some level of experience and proficiency in whether it's C#, C++. We offered them assessment tests, and then we pretty much, I believe we relocated, or was it remote? I'm not sure. I can't remember if Max,
most of the internships you have now are on site.
Yeah, they're gonna be on site, but before it was remote, they had the option. But
with Level Up U,
Yeah.
it ended up being like half and half, because it was like at the end of COVID, so it depended on the development team that they ended up being placed with, and when they got placed,
they went to different studios.
they went to different studios. So different studios, and they started working with those studios before the end of their cohort. So if they were already working remote, some of those studios didn't require that relocation allowance. So it just depended on the studio.
And that Level Up U was it was like our own boot camp that we provided. Our leadership within the company was kind of guiding you through, like, some people can take a Python or JavaScript or C++ or C# assessment test, and then we'll put them through the boot camp, and then they'll learn exactly the requirements for, within our own engines at the company. Then I would say almost all of the candidates were offered positions after the program ended. So that was a huge program that it even won awards, and that was the first time we did it. And I think it should be coming out soon. So I would just make sure that you type in Level Up University Activision Blizzard, and it'll take you to a landing page, and then it'll tell you about, it'll give you updates as time comes. But that would be a good program right now if you have an associate degree, some level of experience and proficiency. But outside of that, if you didn't get selected, definitely still pursue your bachelor's in CS. I mean, that would definitely help, because you're going to be competing with people that have bachelor's, master's degrees, even experience at smaller gaming studios that want to work at a big game studio like Activision Blizzard. So the competition is a lot higher on the associate level as opposed to the principal senior level, because the skill set is, a lot of, it's a lot less candidates that have that amount of experience as opposed to the associate level. So that's why the competition is a lot higher on that end. So I hope that kind of answers your question. But from the side that you're doing now, just keep doing projects on your off time. If you're proficient in C++ or C#, do game jams, do projects on the side. I definitely recommend doing that. And actually, on the topic of game jam, I'm not sure how many students in the audience are kind of focused on the CS or the development side, but we're actually hosting a game jam sponsored by, partnered by Unity. So Unity is collaborating with us. Our veteran resource group is kind of leading this charge of setting up the game jam, but it starts on the 27th of this month and it ends December 15th. So we're given 3 weeks to kind of team up with people around the US, and you have a chance to kind of build your own game through Unity. And at the end of the 3 weeks, we'll kind of highlight and present those games out to everybody that participated. So I would highly suggest maybe participate in that. And I can add a link to the chat if anybody's interested in participating in that.
That sounds like an awesome opportunity, Mike. Yeah, so I think Katie's got the question there. Katie, I see your hand up there, so go ahead, take yourself off mute and fire away. Katie, hi.
Trying. Did it work that time? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. So don't know if I'm in the minority here. I'm actually an active duty member's spouse, and we are 2.5 years out from his career being done and him finally being able to retire. And it's the same timeline for me to finish my BA in game art and development. Can you speak to, I may have missed it because my car broke down, so I got here 10 minutes late. Can you speak to the spouse program thing? Because he would love to know, because he's a visual imaging and software person. And so we'd be curious to know more about it. We'll be in Texas for the next 2.5 years. So that is my question. I don't know if that's rambly, but yeah.
Trying to find that mute button. So you're trying to find out about a spouse program, or are you trying to find out about like the transition for your husband in 2 years? Let me make sure I get the question correct, because it was like both parts.
The spouse one, because I know that timeline. Like I've just started doing game art stuff. Like this week is my learning how to use Photoshop and Illustrator. So I'm at the very beginning. I'm hoping to get to the point where we're actually working with the 3D assets, because that's actually, I can't wait to learn how to rig. That's my excited thing. But yeah, I am on the art side of things.
If you're on the art side of things, like Mike said earlier, there's a program called Sparks for your sophomore year. You want to look at it. You want to check out the early careers press play series that is on the early careers site, so you can learn how to apply for one of those internships. Secondly, we're formulating a spouse program, but with RTO, we had to take a pause on that. So it might come back in 2 years because we don't know where the job market is. But currently, we don't have anything going right now for the spousal program. But our team's always willing to help spouses if they're willing to move to California or the Texas area. And you said you're moving to Texas, so we have studios in Austin, Infinity Ward, and Blizzard. So if those are options for you, you can look into those studios to see if it's any careers in art and animation.
All right, thanks, Max. Great question, Katie. Thank you. Oh, Katie, I see you came off mute again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just said thank you, and yeah, I'll only be like 3 hours away from Austin, so that is a good thing.
All right, Connor.
Hello. I had a quick question about that HOH program you were talking about earlier. What would be next steps for getting involved with that?
You need to get in.
Yes.
Go to Google, type in Hiring Our Heroes, get in contact with the counselors there, because we are part of them, and we have a representative from them that we talk to all the time when it comes to our program. But it needs to line up with your transition, and they'll lay all of that out for you. Sometimes we do pull people in on what we call an off-cycle cohort and bring them in with the rest of the cohort, but it still depends on your timeline.
Yeah, the mic is still kind of weak, Mike, but yeah, I'm not sure, Connor, if you heard the, sorry, my baby's running it. If you, hold on one second, I feel like I'm on the news where the baby walks into the room. Yeah, so it depends on your transition. When's your transition date?
I separated a year ago, so I wasn't sure if that was even still a possibility.
Yeah, you would have to be transitioning out within 180 days. I know there's other programs like Career Forward. I'm not sure if they do. There are other programs, so you might want to research Career Forward. There are some programs that do, like, yeah, definitely, like Mike said, like out of cycle fellowships after, depending on your experience and education history. So I would research Career Forward. That could be another option for you. But outside of that, you would just have to be looking for new hire positions. Depending on if you already completed your degree, then obviously the internship program would be out of that would be out of it. You would need to just look for full-time employment.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So Connor, what's your career field you're trying to go into?
I just finished up my bachelor's in computer science, so I'm looking into software engineering, software development, things like that.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Field Nation?
What was the name of that?
Field Nation.
Field
I have
Nation?
not.
Yes. Check out Field Nation. You're kind of like an independent contractor on different projects, but you can cut your teeth and get your experience off of these different jobs, which will help build up a resume.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll look into that.
Thanks, Mike. Great question, Connor. Adam, go right ahead. Take yourself off mute and fire away. Adam, if you can hear us, you can feel free to take
It's in the-
yourself off mute.
His question's in the chat.
Go ahead, David. Thank you.
Let's see, I'm just
He
reading that.
says, can you read it, Mike?
Yeah, they had the same issue I had, like with Kit just running in. Definitely understand. It says, I'm majoring in military history and was wondering if that is desirable in terms of research and development of games, particularly if I earned a coding certificate alongside my bachelor's. Thank you for as well the Game Jam link. That really depends. I mean, there's a lot of different roles that require different requirements. A coding background or coding certificate that could help just kind of just show your passion, but honestly, I can't really say if that's going to improve your chances of getting a role in that type of space. But there's a lot of roles that could be within the research and development side. It really depends on what type of route you're trying to take, because there's writing, content writing. I mean, there's a lot of different avenues you could take. So the first step I would do is probably research the types of roles that you might be interested in, and then kind of go from there. We could talk offline, but through the major military history, obviously it's outside the gaming world and space. You might have, different ideas about building games and stuff, but that really doesn't directly correlate to actual relevant experience. So that might be a hard one to kind of justify to the hiring team. So we would just have to talk offline. I would have to look at the resume directly and give you more of a clear answer. Hope that kind of helps.
Thanks, Mike. All right, so Bradley.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
I have an interesting situation where I got out of the Army in 2015. I was studying video game design, programming, and computer science for a really long time. And the reason I'm going to SNHU because I decided to change my degree to creative writing in English with a focus in screenwriting. So I guess my question is, because I went to Digipin. If you guys aren't familiar with Digipin, it's a school run by the vice president of Claude Cormier. I went there for like 3 semesters. And when I was going to that school, I know about the art side and the programming side, but I didn't really see how the scripts are written. I guess my question is, I know that the guy that wrote the narration for God of War Ragnarok won the award. So how does normally the writing, like how you hire writers in the company? Is it normally just the people that make the video games write the narration and all the interactivity for the storytelling, or do you hire outside writers?
It all depends. Those roles might not open up quite a bit, but we do have creative writing, content writing. There's a lot of different writing roles that we do tend to open. It's just timing has a lot to do with it. Sometimes they might hire contractors first and then maybe convert to full time. Some of them tend to hire from different studios, preferably. If not, then they'll kind of look for outside candidates that might have different portfolios of work they can provide to show them the capability and ability to write good content. But yeah, we definitely see those positions open up quite a bit. I wouldn't say quite a bit, but from time to time. So
okay,
yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Bradley. Thanks, Mike. Tim Nash, Timothy.
Hi, good evening. I just had or can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so I just had a few questions. This is in regards to your listings on like LinkedIn regarding MBA summer internships. I'm currently getting my MBA in marketing, so I was interested in those. Do you have like any key or specific things that would set me apart from any other candidates that are applying to these positions? Because I know you were talking about gaming. You go through whatever programs specific to that. But I didn't know if you had any programs for like just the business side of things.
We just attended NBA Veterans Conference here in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and we saw a lot of amazing talent there. And I know the one thing they're looking for. I tell you the truth, that is the NBA program is highly competitive, almost more than the actual internship program, because the amount of slots that we offer for the NBA side. They have the NBA rotational program and then the NBA internship program. They were looking for. I'm not sure what year do you graduate?
2025 summer.
Yeah, so
summer or spring, depending on
yeah. That's the year that they're looking for. So I posted the link on this chat for early careers. So I would just kind of scroll up there, look at the early careers page. They, I believe Max said it before, they do like press play, which is like a video session to kind of describe and give details about different requirements, what to look for, the interview panels, tips and success stories. But the internship program, especially related to MBAs, they definitely it's highly competitive. You look at different schools, different backgrounds, what type of degree plan you're in. Marketing we do hire from time to time, but I would definitely start your search on the early careers webpage and just make sure you kind of fit all the requirements, because I think the deadline to even apply for that program is going to be December, the first week of December. So the time to apply would be pretty quick. But just kind of setting yourself up, from others, you have to know they're going, they're looking at all different types of schools throughout the country with different types of backgrounds. So it's just a very, very competitive from what we saw at the conference. But I would just connect with our early careers team at Activision. There's a group of recruiters that just dedicate all their time to internship, and we can kind of point you in the right direction. But I would initially just go to the early career site first, just to kind of get the requirements set, just to make sure that you're eligible for this next internship program.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Timothy. Great question. I did see another hand go up. Did it come down? Nope. Cody.
Hi, I'm an aspiring 3D artist with a focus on like modeling and animation. I'm getting ready to graduate in a few months, so I've been obviously, for a long time looking into different openings, like trying to find internships and stuff like that. And consistently, when I look at a company, what I see are oftentimes like no apprenticeships available or no internships. And when I'm seeing ads, they're always, 10 years or more of experience. They're very high requirements. What I'm trying to figure out is like, should my expectations as an artist be to like try and make indie games for a few years and then try and apply? Or is there like, what is the minimum level of like proficiency and experience that you expect out of an internship?
Internship alone, like I said before, it's super competitive, and they're working years. Like I said, for the NBA, they're working for 2025 graduates. 2024, obviously, is they completed that internship application process really quick. And the jobs that you're seeing online that say state 10 years, those jobs you'll always see online all the time, because those are the ones that's harder to find. A principal engineer with C++ experience, but 10 plus years of being in the game side. Those jobs are a lot harder to fill than an associate level 3D artist or tech artist, because someone's coming straight out of school, or they're going from an indie studio trying to work on a bigger title. So in your case, I would try to do heavy game jams, heavy projects. I would even work at smaller studios. What we see a lot in the gaming side is, before I worked here, I worked at Electronic Arts. I was recruiting for Madden, NBA Live, college football, PGA Tour, which is out now. But what I saw the most in my recruiting experience in the gaming world is you constantly, hiring managers love to see other candidates from other gaming studios, because it's easier for them to just kind of break into the industry or break into the team. That makes it difficult for other candidates that are just graduating or trying to break into the industry, because they don't have relevant experience. They're just getting started. So the biggest thing for you is just to do a lot of project work, because the hiring manager is going to look at your resume. They're going to say, outside of school, what did this person do to show that they're interested in gaming? They just got their degree in computer science, but didn't do any projects, don't have anything on the resume. They're prior military, police, and the Army, but they got a computer science degree. Then they're going to go with someone that has spent their off time sacrificing their time with, whether it's family or just fun, doing like side projects and gaming, building games, working on different projects, have your GitHub set up. They're going to look at that more than just someone just completing their 4-year degree. So if it was me, network with the right people in different studios just to learn who's who, connect with different 3D artists. If that's the type of route you want to take, 3D artists that are in the gaming industry, that are prior military, connect with them, and then, try to work at smaller studios. So, the smaller studios build that experience. And then once you get a couple of years, people are going to recruit. You're going to get tired of recruiters contacting you then, because they're going to want you a lot. Just because you're going to have that experience already built. But sometimes it does take time to get to the bigger studios like Activision Blizzard, just because the amount of experience is needed. So
is there any value in like self-publication? Like I mentioned animation, if I'm publishing my own, like, short films and projects like that, or just maybe trying to become committal to like other people's projects or like contract work, is that something that you guys value?
Yeah, we've even seen some PhD candidates in the past. When I've recruited for gameplay and AI talent, they've done like thesis on, AI and, that type of focus. And, you know, a lot of hiring managers love that stuff because they see just outside of the normal, you know, education coursework you're doing, you're really passionate about that field. You're doing, you know, publications, you're doing outside the box stuff. And that definitely helps. That goes a long way. So I would highly suggest doing that type of work. In indie studios, not to say you need to go to indie studio. There's other studios out there. Just this year has been rough. I mean, you can probably see all the different layoffs with the big companies, especially the tech companies. Microsoft laid, you know, 10K this past year. You know, Meta, a lot of different companies are laying off people. So just try to get in with, connected with the right recruiters and right teams at gaming studios, and just slowly keep trying. But I wouldn't just spray and pray, but just, you know, target certain roles that really fit kind of your experience and your education, and then kind of go that route. But definitely do these game jams just to build the experience and learn how these things operate, because you're networking with other people that might, you know, award you opportunities in the end. So that helps.
Thank you very
bit.
much. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Great question. Before we did have another hand up there. Connor, I'll get to you in a sec. Mike Perry, is there a link for the Sparks website? I know somebody had asked that, if you can drop that in the chat.
Yeah, we'll add it.
Hey,
It's no link for it, but it's, if you connect to the early careers page, you'll see it there.
Okay.
I think at the bottom. Yeah. And
Yeah, you
I
got
could
that?
probably drop something in there if you can attach that.
All right, thank you. Let's see, Connor, you're up again, sir. Connor, you're muted.
Press the raise hand instead of the mute.
Yeah.
Do y'all have something like a Discord group for getting together with other people competing in that game jam to like form teams, pitch
No, we
ideas,
will.
things like that?
What we're actually going to do, I think the cutoff date we're going to have is going to be, if you're interested in participating, I would definitely suggest applying, registering sometime quick, because next week we'll be in LA. We're doing a lot of events next week. The 20th is when I hope to deliver a like kickoff session with Unity, just kind of discussing, all right, this is the team breakdown. We'll probably have slides saying, you know, these are the teams that are going to be together. The Discord Unity is going to provide, they're going to build a Discord channel, and we'll send invites whenever we have the teams knocked out. And then from there, you and your team can kind of connect with each other, you know, daily, you know, when you're building the game, and then you can refer back to Discord if you have any certain questions related to features or any challenges that or roadblocks that you have. But definitely we'll have a Discord channel set up, and then near the end we'll do like the finale where we'll show off all the presentations, and it'll be a good time. So we've had a good thing about this game jam too. If you do these type of game jams, there could be, you know, leadership involved, you know, brand awareness, because we're trying to promote this because it's a great initiative for people that are looking to get in the industry. So we've had our first game jam, you know, someone potentially had an offer, but he ended up going back to the Navy, getting pulled back to the Navy. But, you know, he participated in this first game jam that we have. So it's really good avenue to go. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Jump in the chat box again. I don't know if you have any questions in there. So Ryan asks, Mike, is the internship open to family members of veterans?
Yeah, internship is open to anybody. It's just, you know, your current timeline within school. So if you're in a 4-year program, they have the 10-year, the sophomore program, which is called the Sparks, and then the regular college internship. So it's, yeah, no matter who you are, you're eligible for the internship as long as you meet the certain requirements listed on the site. Yeah.
Folks, we got some great questions here. We've got a few more minutes, so I'd love to see a couple more hands go up. There we go.
Yeah,
We've got
I saw that question earlier. Yeah, Allegra, you know, there's some positions that are kind of like a hybrid. So, you know, there's some like design / coding that requires some type of coding background plus design. It all depends on what your interests are. So if you're solely focus on graphic design, I mean, you could definitely just focus on that. But I would research, go on different career sites, whether it's, Riot Games, Epic, EA, Activision Blizzard, and type in graphic design, and you'll see the different types of positions that open up. You could look at the responsibilities and roles, the requirements, and then they'll tell you, hey, this is what we always look for. So that's something you kind of build off of. If you want to go more of a hybrid, you're more than welcome to kind of learn coding. That kind of helps you, I guess, if you want to do some type of hybrid work, but it's not necessary, I would say.
David and Alex, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody else's questions here in the chat. Tyrone, go right ahead, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I just had more of like a broader question, not like nothing really technical. I was just wondering, how would you all describe your the work environment at Activision Blizzard?
It's a video game company.
It's a video game.
So, no, to be honest, Activision Blizzard is just like any other organization. A lot of the times, just like in the military, the people that you work with, they drive how you feel about what you do. No different. But the difference is we do participate in some things that make it a little more funner than the military, especially when it comes to building games. We don't build games, but we hang out with the people that do and discuss with them the different stuff that they're doing. So that's one of the great things about being a part of it. That's what I take.
Okay.
Yeah. The culture is awesome, just from the gaming environment to when I transitioned out of the Air Force, I ended up recruiting for colleges, and I recruited for Norwegian Cruise Line down in Miami, because I was at the Miami MEPS as my last assignment. And when I started recruiting for Norwegian, I had to wear khaki pants and make sure they're creased up, and button up shirts and make sure they're tucked in, and I had to walk down the hallways kind of like I'm marching and everything. And then I ended up getting an interview at EA, and they said the first thing they said on the interview email is like, don't wear a suit. I'm like, well, crap, what am I going to wear? I've been wearing these khakis. All I have is khakis. So, and then they said, yeah, don't wear a suit. You can be overdressed. And I ended up sitting in the interview room. A guy walks in with flip flops and a backwards Boston Red Sox hat and a T-shirt. And I was like, man, that's a different type of atmosphere. But that's the kind of environment you'll see in gaming. It's just like, come as you are, as long as you get the work done. That's all that matters. But outside of that, I mean, they have Fruit Loops. I mean, all the stuff you see in like the social network type, the big companies we have, the restaurants on site. The studios are actually really, really cool to be a part of. A lot of people now, because when COVID hit, everybody was used to working remote. Everybody just wants to focus on remote, but the actual studio life, I would, associate level talent would truly benefit working at the studio, learning from senior members. But the studio life is there. I mean, they have, launch parties whenever, Call of Duty just turned 20 years old. We're having launch parties. There's musical guests. We've had Chris Paul talk to us, a couple months ago. There's certain guests that come up that you would normally never see at normal companies, and it's pretty cool. So the culture is completely different than any other industry, and it's a good thing to be a part of too, because our team is small. And we're actually doing a lot of road shows. We say military road shows. So I was at Fort Benning this year. Mike's close to Fort Bliss. So we do a lot of base visits. When was the last time you've seen a gaming company at a base visit? So we had that opportunity to go to bases and, show them that, hey, we definitely want more veterans in the gaming industry. So just having the freedom to do that makes, speaks volumes, I think. So.
Okay.
We just handed out. Oh, Jeremy's in the house. What's up, Jeremy?
Yep.
Why, hello, everyone.
Jeremy. Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, so definitely the culture, can't beat it. It says, hey, the first Blizzard game I played was Lost Vikings, been a fan since then. So yeah, that's what I've known about Blizzard fans. They're dedicated to that, certain games within Blizzard. I like growing up, I played just Madden and Call of Duty, and I played SOCOM when I was in the military, but Blizzard has, a dedicated crowd to their games, which is cool.
All right, so Joe G, go right ahead, sir. I think we have time for one more question.
Gents, thank you for doing this, and thanks for making this happen. First and foremost, I'm a marketing student, so my question is pertaining towards marketing. As someone who has been doing internships over the past year, I've been really focused on honing on the experience to make myself stand out amongst all the other candidates. My question is, what do you gents look for when it comes to people who are aspiring to become marketers within Activision Blizzard?
And sadly, I mean, some teams wish to have experience in the gaming side, sadly, because they know what the gaming environment is, the different cycles that games are published, different launches. So that would be highly preferred. So you'll see most of the job descriptions preferred recent, game experience. Outside of that, it just depends on what type of role you're looking for within marketing, because there's a lot of different specialties, marketing analysts. I mean, there's a lot of different roles that you can kind of take. And then my suggestion would be, like, I'm not a SME on marketing. I know that the attraction and is there. I mean, there's a lot of people that are interested in that type of field. So my suggestion would be to kind of connect with prior veterans in the marketing space at these gaming studios and just try to ping them. I can't speak on too much of what the hiring managers look for outside of just the relevant experience based off the job description. They're going to look for, you have to have 4 years of experience. Can you prove that by explaining the experience that you have within that? So definitely research and connect with, I would say, any marketing professionals within the gaming industry that are prior veterans, and I would just ping them and ask those type of questions. They should be able to help you out. Veterans should respond easily to other veterans, I think. But Mike, you had some else?
Yeah, Joe, so I'm gonna drop a link in there to one of our roles. It's a senior manager of marketing. Probably you're not there yet, but it kind of gives you the background of the different marketing. So just take a look at that. And
Thank you, sir.
It's dropped in their skill sync. If you all are not using skill sync to be sure your resume lines up with the actual role you're trying to go into, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's free for veterans. Most of us who transition out, our biggest issue is not being able to translate what we've been doing into corporate America. And our application gets into a applicant track system and it gets slaughtered because the words don't compute over to corporate America. So take advantage of stuff like that.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike. I know we're 1 minute past. I don't know, guys, if you can stick around for one more question. I can wrap up my closing in about 10 seconds. So if we have time for May, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name properly.
Yes, hi. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So I put it in the chat already, but I don't think it went through for some reason. But I just wanted to ask if there's any way to potentially pitch an idea or a storyboard or even like a game to the company, or how you would go about doing that.
Honestly, we get that quite a bit too. I would say majority of the career fairs that we go to, we're like, hey man, I got a good idea to improve your game or a good idea for a game. Unfortunately, I can't think of a route. I don't know if Max or Mike want to pitch into maybe a certain route they can take.
There's no real route for that. I will tell you, it's just like when you come into any organization, you come in and do one thing, and then people recognize your talent and see that you can do other things that you can influence. That's my best thing I'll tell anyone, because getting you a foot in the door is what opens up more opportunities.
Yeah. Inside our resource groups that we have roles that are tailored towards in-game representation. So if they see certain things within the game that are not fully represented, we can kind of pitch that idea to the game teams and hopefully make improvements there. So that could be initial start. And then, as far as an idea for new games, it's definitely networking with the right people, I would say. But there's no real easy answer that this is the person you need to send your idea to. So fortunately, that wish was that easy, but it's once you get on the inside, then there's certain avenues that you possibly take.
Thanks,
you.
Mike. Oh, sorry, Meg.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying thank you.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate you coming on out this evening. Veterans, spouses, dependents, thank you all for your service. Give your loved ones a hug. And also, anybody who's local to New Hampshire, we're hosting an event next week on Thursday evening up in Manchester at the main campus. We're going to have about 25 employees there, so check that out. You can find that in Handshake. keep an eye out. We've got another event next week on Tuesday evening as well, and the following Tuesday evening. So again, thank you, Mike, and Max. Much appreciated you guys coming on out, and Ray and David and Chapa, thanks for staying late tonight. I know it's an early Friday for us, and I kept you guys around late, so much appreciated. Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
It's all right. I wanted to be here, and I love learning about these programs and sharing it with people that I work with. Yep.
Ditto.
Appreciate it.
All right, y'all.
Have a good night,
Everybody
everybody.
have a good day.
Bye.